Welcome. And so I am starting to write my book called Everyday Awakening. And I know there's a lot of interest in awakening. So I decided that I'm also going to make videos as I do write each chapter. So the first chapter, of course, is the introduction. And in it, I explain what the awakening is. Now, with many things in the spiritual realm, there's a macrocosmic and a microcosmic explanation for the awakening. The macrocosmic explanation is that we're in an age of transition, of the Great Awakening. This time has been predicted by many prophecies. This is the end of the age of Pisces, known as the end of days by some. And that may sound familiar, but it doesn't mean the brimstone raining down and the end of the world. It's just the end of the world as we know it. A new consciousness is being born. And we can see this in other ages. In the age of Taurus, there was the age of worshiping multiple gods, and the bull was a huge symbol for that age. And you can see that in Egyptian temples and in Greece. In the age of Aries, it was the monotheistic religion of Judaism that was born, and it was symbolized by the ram, which was often sacrificed by the Abrahamic tradition. And the age of Pisces, it was the Christ, the Savior without. And now we're going into the age of Aquarius. And all clues point to this age about finding the Christ or the Savior within, the God within. And there are many clues towards this that have come out over the years that I've examined. But that is what is essentially the awakening on the macrocosmic level. It's all these people waking up and consciousness shifting. Now, there are many reasons why this is able to happen now. And one of them has to do with the fact that a lot of us live in comfort. We have modern amenities, and that gives us the ability to have the time to work on these sorts of things. And when it comes to the individual, there are many reasons why it is important to embark on the awakening journey. The first main reason, and what's happening on a collective level, which is why these ideas such as shadow work and others have really caught the mind of the collective, is the 100 monkey syndrome or symptom. And so what it is in Japan, there was a study of monkeys, and they used to throw sweet potatoes to the monkeys, and they'd land in the sand, and the monkeys would eat them. And then one really wise monkey decided to rinse off her potato in the water and clean it. And then she taught her mother, and she taught other monkeys in her group, and then they taught other monkeys. And soon many monkeys on the island were washing their potatoes. Now, that's pretty cool, but what was really mind-blowing was when monkeys on a totally separate island, to which none of the monkeys that were being studied could go, started to wash their potatoes too. And so it's thought that the idea of washing potatoes went into the collective consciousness, and everyone started to wash their potatoes. And the same thing can happen with humans, because we have the collective unconscious, as what Carl Jung termed it. And so when each of us awaken, we contribute to this awakening to the collective. It will naturally, like dominoes, start to knock down the dominoes, and it will naturally grow until it's common knowledge. Much like the multiverse concept and shadow work have become common knowledge, the awakening has also become common knowledge. And so that is why it's important to go on this journey. Now, for many of the way showers at the beginning of this collective unconscious movement, they started the journey of awakening because of tragedy, grief, loss, something like that started them on the path of the seeker, and they started seeking answers. Now, I wrote a book, The Purpose of Life, a brief scientific and magical guide to the zodiacal age of Aquarius, which is the answers that I found. But this particular book and this series of videos that I'm starting is actually more of a gentle unfoldment of the awakening. It is the different systems of 7 that really embody the awakening and explain the awakening. And so we're going to start off with the 7 planets, 7 chakras, the 7 steps of alchemy and the 7 uh, spiritual cards, tarot cards of the seeker. And at the end of it, this journey of introspection, we'll have a better picture of ourselves. Edgar Cayce said the purpose of life is to know thyself and that you are one with the Creator. Now, to unpack that, the first part of that is to know thyself. And know thyself was a slogan on the Oracle of Delphi's temple, the Temple of Apollo. And it is a very important maxim to know thyself. Most people don't know themselves. That's why they turn to psychics, mediums, to personality tests, to other methods outside of themselves to know themselves. But this series of everyday exercises that we're going to go through for the next 30 days is going to really guide us to open up ourselves to this process of awakening in a gentle unfoldment using these ancient techniques, these ancient methods. The planets have always been studied and had the same meanings across the different traditions. The 7 steps of alchemy is a treasured process that has been very carefully cultivated since the medieval times. The 7 chakras is a system from the Hindu system that has been very heavily cultivated and practiced for endless ages. And the 7 tarot cards, again from the Middle Ages, has been a guide to people. So we're using these ancient methods to really step into ourselves, to know ourselves better, using them as a guide for personal introspection and meditation. And meditation is important on the path of the seeker and the path of awakening. Meditation simply means to place the mind upon. Whenever we focus on something, we are meditating. And so I'm going to have journal prompts that I'm going to include with these chapters so that you can meditate on them and unfold yourself naturally along with these processes. So not only are we going to study the process, but we're going to see how it actually interlaces with our own reality. And so I'm really excited to have this journey with you. I'm excited to start it. Like I said, I've already written my introduction chapter, and we're going to start chapter 1 today. I'm probably going to write many chapters today, knowing me. But tomorrow I will be back with the first chapter, or the introduction to the first series of 7, which is going to be the 7 chakras. We're going to start there and then build on that. So I'm looking forward to sharing this journey with you. I'm excited about it, and I hope you enjoy. Bye for now.